Hey y'all! Today we're going to be talking about the Octave Fuzz, and I'll give you my little journey of the first Octave Fuzz I ever got up to the latest. It's going to be fun. And Octave-y. Like I said, the first Octave Fuzz I ever got was the Experience pedal from Prescription Electronics. It's a 3-mode fuzz pedal. There's a swell, which makes the sound go meow, meow, meow as you play each note, which is sort of useless and sucky. So it really could be a 2-mode pedal. There's like a fuzz face right here, and then the Octave Fuzz, which is activated in the center. And it has 4 switches: volume, tone for the fuzz, tone for the octave, and then the swell garbage. I got this in college, I think it was. It was pretty expensive. I had a job, so I was kind of saving up a little bit for it. I had read an article in Guitar Player magazine saying how good this was, and this is like the greatest thing ever. And Doyle Bramhall, who was one of my favorite players of all time, he had it in his board, so I was like, well, I mean, it just shows you how influential the guitar magazines were. Like, I just went out and bought it. I had no way of really even hearing it. So I bring it home and I plug it into my dual rectifier with my Ibanez RG760, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this sound? This is not awesome. So I put it on the shelf, and it wasn't even maybe like a year later I came back to it and it all clicked, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. It is probably the most aggressive of all the Octave Fuzzes that I have. It has a really solid punch and a big bottom end. It just screams. This is the fuzz without the octave. With the octave on. After the Experience pedal, I'd gone through some other fuzz. After the Experience pedal, I've gone through some other fuzzes and octave fuzzes even, but I didn't really settle on anything I loved until I found these guys. Boosh. The Soundblocks Multi-Wave Distortion, and the GNI Multi-Fuzz and Vintage Distortion. I never even bothered to learn its name because it's just too long. It's really a marketing nightmare. It's humongous. The distortion on it kind of is lackluster. It's like, really not awesome. Really heavy. You could hurt someone with this thing. The multi-fuzz section on this is incredible, though. You've got sort of in mode 1 a fuzz face. Mode 2, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a leaner fuzz face. And then mode 3 is the octave fuzz. All 3 modes are killer, especially 1 and 3. It's just a 2-knob thing. GNI has now distilled the octave mode 3 down into its own pedal. Looks like that. And super great pedal. It just takes up so much room on the board. And the Soundblocks Multi-Wave Distortion is an all-digital pedal. It does a gazillion things, and they're all really interesting. It has a pretty decent like boost and sort of fuzzy distortion, but it's got these it's got these multi-band distortions and fold back and octave inversions of the octave. It's got all kinds of stuff that will go from Trent Reznor to Adrian Belew and all kinds of weird stuff in between. I love this pedal. I usually left it on just kind of one setting unless I wanted to get really experimental, but this is absolutely killer. They have a version 2 out now that sounded similar. Didn't sound exactly the same. This was my preferred one. while back, I was having Dave Friedman build me a really humongous pedal board. And one of the things he recommended is the Foxrock's Octron pedal. When Dave recommends something, it's worth checking out. And he was so right. This pedal is amazing. It's all vibe, super cool. There's basically 3 faders. So you've got your center, which is your dry signal, your normal signal. You've got your bass octave, which is an octave below, which is sort of a clean, humongous fat octave. And then you've got the octave up, which brings in the fuzz and the high octave. Amazing pedal. 3 octaves at once. You sound huge. You don't need a bass player. You don't need a singer. You barely need a drummer. So as I continued to empty my bank account into fuzz currency, I ended up with these guys. The first of which is the Robert Keely Wolf Fuzz. That's Wolf with 2 F's in homage to the Fox with 2 X's tone machine. This pedal is aggressive and it cuts through everything. It's really, really killer. It's got a silicon and germanium switch back and forth here. It has an octave on and off for the overall fuzz, which is great, and then level, sustain, or fuzz, and tone. This is especially great when you're in a loud band and you want to shove it in everyone's face. The Boss Super Octave OC3. You know what? Boss pedals, they're always on point, and this is no exception. This doesn't do octave ups, it does octave downs, but there's a polyphonic mode, there's the standard 1 octave, 2 octave mode, and there's a drive mode, which is so awesome. They've completely dialed in that like Black Keys sound. It's a hairy, fuzzy sound with low octave, and if you play up the neck, there's your high octave, and the low octave sounds beefy and badass too. Super cool. Bumble Fuzz from Third Man Records. That's Jack White's company. It's a collaboration with Union Tube and Transistor, which is another boutique pedal company, and they clearly know what they're doing. This thing is awesome. And look at this. No, there's no knobs whatsoever. You just step on it and it goes, I think this is my favorite pedal that I have. It's basically a clone of the Prescription Electronics Clean Octave Blend pedal. They stopped making those and stopped making all their pedals, and their used prices just skyrocketed, like $500, $600, $700, $800. I think I saw one for $900, which that's crazy. Thankfully, Prescription is back in business, so you could get a Clean Octave Blend now. I think you could pre-order them now, but at some point they're going to be back in stock, which will be really nice. This one has nice little drawings on it from my son. It has a level control, a fuzz control, and a blend, which is the Clean Octave Blend. So you could dial in just the amount of extra, that cutting, biting octave fuzz into your tone. So if you have already a tone that you love, you just want a little edge to cut through, this is aces. So fantastic. It's been on Doyle Bramhall's board. I think every board I've ever seen, he's got this on it. It's right up front. It's a very Doyle Bramhall-y sound, but it'll go places, it'll take you to the moon. It's one of the best. I recently got the Dan Electro Eisenhower Fuzz. This thing is nasty. Where some of the other pedals love to have you up at that 12th fret zone, where the octave, that distorted fluty sound really comes in, that doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, beep. This guy, it'll do that, but it loves just being a heavy chords and rock machine. It's nasty, it's gritty. There's a sculpt and flat switch here, which really scoops out the sound if it's not aggressive enough for you. Bass and treble EQs, and level and fuzz, so you can really dial in all of the cutting, gross nastiness. Killer pedal. The last pedal I'm going to show you today is the Octal from King Tone. I've been on the wait list for a while on this. I'm so psyched to have just received it. It's great sounding. This pedal used to be bigger. It used to be more the mega big size. So it's nice that he brought it down to sort of the standard size. This is the Dano pedal. Very pedal board friendly. It has the king tone switch, which he has on his Duelist pedal also, which is sort of the full frequency, the glassy, and like a vintage sort of mode. It's a pre-EQ that really kind of changes the whole character of the pedal. In this, there's a drive, a volume, a tone, and the mix knob again, like the clean octave blend. So in a way, it's the clean octave blend with a tone switch. They sound very different. This one is a little deeper and fatter. It's a little more like Jesse's tone. Jesse's an incredible guitar player, kind of in the Stevie Ray Vaughan school of guitar players. This is probably the warmest of my octave fuzzes. At least it's capable of that when you go to the full fat switch mode here. And again, you have the mix knob, so you could dial out the octave fuzz and sound like a normal guitar player, and then just dial enough in to sound a little cooler than everybody else. Thank you for watching 15 minutes of blues licks around the 12th fret, which is where all those octave harmonics really jump out. But really, thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you would. Leave a comment. I read everything. I sometimes comment back, even on the nasty ones. Thanks, guys. See you later.